Welcome, everyone, to episode 12 of our World Cup 2026 Daily Chronicle. Today's episode is a rather poignant one, titled The End of a Golden Generation. I am Arthur, and as always, I am joined by my brilliant daughter, Nora. It is an absolute joy to have you all sitting down with us again as we unravel the poetry, the heartbreak, and the sheer drama of this magnificent tournament.
Thanks, Dad. Welcome to the show, everyone. The matches over the last 24 hours have given us a massive data set to chew on, and the implications for the knockout phases are starting to crystallize. We have a lot of ground to cover today, from tactical shifts to some truly wild moments, both on and off the pitch.
Let us start by looking back at what you might have missed. The narrative was split between utter dominance and desperate struggle. Spain was absolutely rampant against Saudi Arabia in a thrashing that felt like a statement. Lamine Yamal slid home his first career World Cup goal, announcing his presence on the global stage, and Oyarzabal picked up a quick brace. But the real drama unfolded in the Belgium versus Iran match. The atmosphere was incredibly tense. Belgium was reeling, relying heavily on Romelu Lukaku to elevate the team. Then came the shocker. Ngoy shown a straight red card after a brutal error forced him to take down Iran's Taremi. And I still cannot believe that moment when Alireza Beiranvand threw up a remarkably strong hand to deny Belgium a sure goal. It really felt like watching the final sunset on Belgium's golden era.
The numbers completely back up that sinking feeling for Belgium, Dad. Missing Jeremy Doku to illness drained their wide progression, and their big chances created per 90 just flatlined without his pace. Once Ngoy was sent off, their expected goals, or XG, completely stagnated. And you mentioned Beiranvand's save. From a data perspective, that was a massive expected goals on target anomaly. He mathematically robbed them of a certain goal. On the flip side, Spain's XG was off the charts. But we have to mention the comedic highlight: Marc Cucurella's brilliant volley that ended up as an own goal to open the second half. It was a statistical blip in an otherwise flawless performance, but definitely threw off their expected goals against metrics. Speaking of team structures, let us pivot to a squad we have not deep dived into yet: Egypt. We are seeing a fascinating tactical evolution from them. Instead of just relying on counterattacks, they have implemented a highly disciplined mid-block. Their expected goals against is phenomenally low, and their interceptions per 90 in the middle third are ranking among the highest in the tournament. They are choking out passing lanes and operating with incredible efficiency as they prepare for their match in Vancouver.
You know, I remember when watching Egyptian teams of the past meant waiting for one talismanic player to conjure a moment of pure, unpredictable magic. It was always about individual flair. But looking at this current squad, you can see the absolute dedication to a collective system. It is a pragmatic beauty. I suppose your numbers validate that grit, Nora. But for me, I just love the spirit they are showing. It is reminiscent of those highly organized, stubborn squads from the late 80s that refused to be bullied by the traditional heavyweights. And speaking of the traditional magic of the beautiful game, I want to take a moment to honor a legend whose style transcended any tactical system. The illusionist himself, Andres Iniesta. He had this aura of absolute silence around him on the pitch. Even in the most chaotic matches, the ball just stuck to his boots as if magnetized. I still vividly remember the 2010 World Cup final in Johannesburg. The tension was unbearable, and then, in the 116th minute, his strike. I can still recall the exact sound of the Jabulani ball ripping into the net and the sheer, overwhelming explosion of emotion. He did not just play football, he painted it.
Iniesta is actually the ultimate outlier for modern analytics. If you looked purely at his raw goals and expected assists per 90, you might completely underestimate him. But when analysts dive into pre-assist numbers, progressive carries, and possession retention rate under high-pressure pressing systems, he is practically flawless. He is quite literally the reason the analytics community had to invent new metrics just to quantify midfield gravity and influence. Moving off the pitch, the modern digital ecosystem is having an absolute field day. The viral clips are out of control right now. My feed is flooded with these funny AI-modded hydration break videos, and you have to see this clip trending worldwide. The Dutch royals were caught on camera dancing in the Curaçao dressing room. Meanwhile, over in Vancouver, the Egyptian and New Zealand fans are completely taking over the city, and the fan atmosphere is electric despite the cooler climate conditions.
Dancing royals in the dressing room? Good heavens! I miss the days when a dressing room was a quiet, sacred sanctuary, reserved only for the players and the manager's wrath. But I must admit, the crowds in Vancouver always bring a wonderful, welcoming warmth to any tournament. The climate might be perfectly mild up there, but the passion is clearly boiling over. Even an old traditionalist like me can appreciate a good, vibrant celebration, provided the joy is genuinely earned on the pitch. Well, the clock is ticking, and we must look ahead to what is next. Today's slate is wonderfully varied. We have New Zealand taking on Egypt, Argentina facing Austria, and France going up against Iraq. But there is one specific fixture that really catches my eye today, and that is Uruguay clashing with Cabo Verde.
I completely agree. The stakes in that Uruguay versus Cabo Verde match are incredibly high. Cabo Verde has brought this fearless, high-pressing style that could genuinely expose Uruguay if their build-up play is sluggish. From a pure data perspective, it is a fascinating clash. Uruguay's high XG conversion rate colliding directly with Cabo Verde's aggressive tackles and interceptions per 90. What do you say, Dad? Is that the one we are watching?
It is absolutely settled. We are sitting down together for Uruguay versus Cabo Verde. I want to see firsthand if the sheer, unbridled grit of Cabo Verde can disrupt that legendary Uruguayan resolve. It has all the makings of a classic underdog story. Thank you all so deeply for joining us on this journey through the 2026 World Cup. It is a privilege to share these stories, both old and new, with you every single day.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Tomorrow we will be breaking down all the XG data from today's matches, seeing if Cabo Verde pulls off the upset, and looking ahead to the evolving knockout phase scenarios. Make sure you tune in.
Line. Until tomorrow, goodbye, and keep loving the beautiful game.